and welcome to our geopolitical flash. Now we will talk about Argentina. Argentina versus reality. The Argentinian president Milei is now facing the moment that every radical leader eventually reaches, the moment when ideas collide with reality. In just a few days, the Argentine president has made three moves that reveal exactly where his government stands. First, he pushed forward one of his most controversial reforms. Second, he quietly stepped back from one of his most symbolic promises. And third, he admitted more clearly than before that the social cost of his policies is real. Taken together, these are not isolated decisions. They show that Milei has entered a new phase. He's no longer simply the outsider attacking the system. He's now the man who is responsible for the government of the system. But let us start with the glacial law. His government has moved to weaken environmental restrictions in the Andes, giving more power to provincial authorities and making it easier to expand what? Mining activity. This is fully consistent with Milei's worldview. Less state control, fewer rules, more room for the market. But this is also where a political risk begins. Argentina's glaciers are not just a symbol of environmental protection, they are strategic water reserves. They feed river basins and support millions of people, especially in dry areas. So this is not just a debate about regulation. It's a debate about development, natural resources, and who pays the price. The reform might help unlock projects in what? Lithium, copper, and silver, all central to the global energy transition. But it also raises a serious question. It's a question like this. Can a government pursue growth by weakening the very protections that safeguard long-term sustainability? That takes us to the second point, the dollarization. For many voters, replacing the peso with the dollar was not just another proposal. It was the flagship promise of Milei's campaign. Yet today, that promise has not disappeared, but it has clearly been postponed. And that matters because it shows the distance between campaign ideology and practical limits of government. Dollarization works as a powerful slogan. It's much harder to implement when foreign reserves are weak, fiscal space is limited, and the economy, like the Argentinian economy, remains fragile. So while the Argentinian president accelerates on deregulation, he slows down what? The most iconic measure of all. And that is not a technical adjustment, is a political signal. And then there is the third issue, public support. Recent polls suggest a growing discontent in Argentina. Inflation might be lower than before, yes, but it's not fully under control. Industrial activity remains weak. Many Argentinians are still living through a painful adjustment, and this has political consequences. This is why Milei's tone has started to change. The leader who once brandished the chainsaw and promised rapid results is now asking the public for what? For patience. That shift is important. It tells us that the real challenge is no longer how to launch shock therapies. The real challenge is how to sustain all that. And this is the core point. Radicalism, adaptation, social cost, they are now all happening at the same time. Milei still wants to transform Argentina, of course, but the deeper question is whether he can keep political support strong enough to carry that transformation forward. In Argentina, reforms often fail, not at the moment of the announcement, but over time, especially when social pressure rises and economic pain lasts much longer than expected. So this is no longer the season of bold promises. for the Argentinian president is now a much harder test, turning ideological momentum into lasting political endurance.